Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to dig into what it takes to be a corporate trainer.
Not just the textbook stuff, but like the real deal.
Exactly. And we're lucky to have RoleCatcher as our guide.
It's a treasure trove of insights, let me tell you.
So, before we get lost in the weeds, paint the big picture for us.
What do corporate trainers actually do? You got it. Think of it like this.
Imagine being the bridge between a company's goals.
And what their people can actually, DO.
It's about giving those employees the power to grow.
And not just their skills. Think bigger.
The whole organization becomes more efficient.
Morale goes up. People actually like their jobs more.
RoleCatcher calls it unlocking employee potential.
It's a great way to put it, really. It's about connecting learning with, tangible results.
So it's more than just presentations and workshops, right?
Yeah, it's way more dynamic than people think.
What does a typical day even look like?
Honestly, every day is different. You might be designing a whole training program one day.
And the next you're leading a workshop, right?
Exactly. Or you might be figuring out what skills people actually need.
It's like detective work almost.
Yeah. And then you're evaluating if those programs are actually working.
You might even mentor other trainers who are just starting out.
It's continuous improvement for everyone.
I'm hearing a lot about those soft skills being super important here.
Oh, 100%.
Like RoleCatcher even mentions dealing with difficult employees.
Which, let's be honest, is a thing.
Any advice on how to handle that?
Well, first off, you need those soft skills. Active listening is huge.
Being able to manage conflict without, things blowing up.
And being flexible enough to adapt your style to different learners.
Because not everyone learns the same way, right?
Absolutely. You got to be a bit of a chameleon.
So true. And RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat things either. They talk about the downsides too.
Yeah, like a long hour sometimes.
Maybe not as much creative freedom as some people might like.
That's something to think about if you're considering this career path, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, the potential to make a real impact.
And, of course, a competitive salary doesn't hurt.
Finding that right fit is key, like you were saying.
100%. And those soft skills we talked about, they're your secret weapon.
For navigating both the good and the bad, right?
Exactly. It's a career with amazing growth potential.
But you got to be resilient, adaptable.
You said it. All right, so let's say someone's hooked.
They like this whole unlocking potential thing.
Yeah, they're ready to shape the future of a company through training.
Where do they even begin?
Well, RoleCatcher does a good job of laying out the career path.
It's not like you just jump into the deep end, right?
Definitely not. You're going to start in those entry-level roles.
Assisting the more experienced trainers.
Yeah, maybe doing some research, getting your feet wet.
Learning the ropes, yeah?
That's it. There might even be some administrative stuff, too.
Just to get a feel for how everything works behind the scenes.
Exactly. You got to learn the business side of things, too. Now, as you move up,
to those junior trainer, intermediate trainer levels.
Right. That's where you really start to shine.
You get to put your own stamp on things.
You got it. You might be designing programs. Remember those needs assessments?
Yeah, figuring out what skills are missing.
And you'd be the one doing that. Plus, evaluating how well the training is actually working.
Making sure it's not just, going in one ear and out the other.
You get it. You might even mentor new trainers.
The newbies. Passing on that knowledge.
I love that. It's like that leveling up in a video game.
Yeah.
You gain experience, unlock new skills.
Okay, I like where you're going with this. So what's the final boss level in this scenario?
That's a great way to put it. So think senior corporate trainer.
Okay, big leagues now.
Now you're not just delivering the training, you're shaping the entire strategy.
Wow, so you're working with top executives, making sure everyone's on the same page?
Exactly. You're connecting the dots between training and the company's big goals.
And staying ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. You got to be on top of the latest trends in training and development.
You become like a thought leader.
Exactly. You're influencing how the entire company learns and grows. It's amazing.
RoleCatcher mentioned a bunch of skills, but did any stand out to you as absolutely essential?
They're all important, of course, but if I had to pick a few...
The must-haves.
It boils down to this: communication, how adults learn, and being adaptable.
So being able to explain things clearly, understanding how adults learn differently than, say, kids.
Exactly. And being able to adjust your approach because every learner is different.
Makes sense. It's that chameleon thing again.
Exactly. Now, one thing RoleCatcher emphasized was learning strategies.
They gave it a 71% importance rating, which is pretty huge.
Right. That really jumped out at me, too. It means you're not just delivering information.
You're creating an experience.
Yeah. You're making it stick.
So give me an example. What does that look like in action?
Okay, imagine you're training salespeople on a new software.
Right.
You could bore them with PowerPoint slides, but a great trainer, they'd create a scenario.
Something they could actually use in their day-to-day.
Exactly, like a simulated sales call where they have to use the software.
Make it real for them.
Exactly. That's going to be way more effective than just, lecturing at them.
So it's about understanding those different learning styles.
100%. Some people are visual learners. Some people need to do things hands-on.
A good corporate trainer figures out how to reach everyone.
You got it. They read the room, adapt their style, and make sure everyone's engaged.
So we've talked about the skills, the daily grind, even the potential career path.
We've covered a lot of ground.
But how does someone actually land that corporate trainer job? Let's talk about that. What are some things someone should be ready for when they walk into that interview?
So you got to be ready to go beyond the resume,
Don't just tell them you have the skills, prove it.
Exactly. They're going to want to hear about how you've actually used those skills.
Real-world examples.
100%. Don't just say you're a good communicator. Tell them about a time when you had to, explain something really complex.
And how you made sure everyone understood.
Yes.
Yeah.
And be ready to talk about how you stay up to date,
Training is always changing.
Exactly. What are you doing to keep learning about new trends, new technologies?
We're reading industry magazines, going to conferences.
Those are great examples. It shows you're serious about your development. And be prepared to talk about those difficult learners.
Yes, those. We've all encountered them.
How would you handle a situation like that?
Give a specific example, maybe?
Exactly. And how do you even know if your training is working?
How do you measure success?
Right. Have you ever had to adjust your approach based on, feedback you got? They'll want to hear about that.
It's about showing them you're not just a trainer, you're a problem solver. Someone who can think on their feet.
Exactly. And don't forget, they're looking for someone who fits their company culture.
Makes sense.
Be ready to explain how your training style matches what their organization is all about.
It sounds like preparation is key.
Oh, absolutely. Know your stuff, be able to talk about it, and connect the dots for them. Now, speaking of preparation, have you heard about RoleCatcher's AI-powered interview practice?
Yeah, I was just reading about that. It's like a mock interview, right?
It's amazing. It simulates a real interview, and it gives you feedback on your answers.
Oh, you can fine-tune things and really boost your confidence.
Exactly. It's a game changer.
This whole deep dive has been so insightful. It's clear that being a corporate trainer is so much more than just, giving presentations. It's about understanding how people learn best, how to make information stick, and always being willing to adapt your approach.
It's a challenging role, but it's also incredibly rewarding. You get to see the impact of your work firsthand.
Absolutely. If you could give our listeners one piece of advice as they embark on this journey to become a corporate trainer, what would it be?
Never stop learning. The field is constantly evolving.
So true. New tech, new methods, new challenges.
Embrace it all. Stay curious. Be adaptable. Don't be afraid to try new things. Your passion for learning will inspire those you train.
I love that. Embrace the evolution of learning. Great advice for anyone, really, not just aspiring corporate trainers. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of corporate trainers. We'll see you next time as we explore another fascinating career path.